Crescent Radio. Welcome to YouTube. We're on the Skies Crescent Radio page, obviously. Please give us a like and a subscription. We'll subscribe. Always helps. We always appreciate that. We're also broadcasting, of course, on skiescrescentradio.com. That's the website. That's where we hang our coat, skiescrescentradio.com. We also broadcast, we share this broadcast to Facebook at the Upfront with Frank Rothstein page on Facebook, and of course on the Skies Crescent Radio page. And of course, if you like or dislike anything you're hearing, please write to me at upfrontfrank@gmail.com or comment at any one of these places that I have just mentioned. YouTube, Facebook, I'm easy. Sitting with me as always in a slightly adjusted scenario because she's more centered in the video clip of her room is, of course, Jade Zabrick. Hello, Jade. Well, we're sitting here in week 2. I mean, once again, there's only one thing in the news. Well, there's a few things, but one thing in the news. We're all looking at, what's going on out in the East, Ukraine and Russia. And it is not pretty out there. I'll give you that. It is not pretty. But what happens out there doesn't just affect people in battle. It affects all around the world in many ways. I was reading that the cost of lumber is going up. Cost of foods, certain foods are going up. But the cost of lumber, lumber is big. That's huge. The cost of gasoline, every time, let me start with this saying, I got rid of my car a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago. I sort of missed my baby, but, I got rid of my car a couple of years ago. But even then, I remember when gas prices went up, people went panicking. Gas is costing, gas is always costing more. What am I supposed to? Well, I guess if I owned a big trucking company or I do things, fuel like that, cost of fuel. But for the average person, cost of fuel, it's a little over $4 a gallon now. I was 407 last thing I read. I'm in New York, the average. Whether it was 385 when I was driving it, 60, or now it's 407. Personally, I wouldn't care. Your car gets, say, I don't know, 17, 18 miles to the gallon, depending on the make, depending on what car you're driving. Got 17, 18 miles. You paid $4.07 to get around, do all your business, go shopping, get food, pick up the family, go here, go there. And you did it for 17 miles of work, $4.07. I know it adds up. I am fully aware it adds up. I understand that. And especially if there's families with multiple cars, of course. So if you live in a remote area where you have to drive more than a lot of people do, of course it adds up. But, I was looking at, where is it? I was looking at some of the things that when I first posted this story, I used my Facebook page as a filing cabinet for a lot of these things. And then by the end of the show, by tomorrow morning, I'll just delete everything. But for now, I was looking at I live in Manhattan. That's where we broadcast. We are out of the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. That's where we are at any given time. And when you're in Manhattan, for people here who are complaining, but even if whether you're in California, I'm looking at places. Like I say, I do a lot of business downtown. I'm always in Greenwich Village. I'm always in what we call the Soho area, the financial district. I'm always somewhere around here. And I look at some of these coffee shops that for like a 20-ounce iced coffee, you're paying almost $6 a cup for it, for what's really a big glass of water and some coffee in it, some ice in it. You're paying almost $6 for that. I'm looking, and I know the things I'm going to say are all petty sounding. I understand that, but when you think about it, I look at the jar of peanut butter. This is, you see how you get this? This is the bottle of water. It's nice and flat. When you get a jar of peanut butter, it goes a little bit curved in. a little curved in, because they're giving you less. And that curve gets bigger all the time. They're giving you less. They may be charging you more or a little, and maybe charging you the same or a little more, but they are giving you less. I mean less. The same thing can be said for the average bar of soap, Dial, Safeguard, Zet, whichever brand you buy in the store. Look at it. It's not that flat brick anymore. It's got the curve. They're giving you less. You ever try going to buy cheese? Cheese. Go look at some of the prices of cheese these days. Expensive. It's a fortune. A little thing of cheese is costing you anywhere between $6 and $12, depending on what you're buying. Go to a ball game. Go to a ball game and buy a beer for yourself and a little bit of food. You want to see the average family go to a baseball game without the gas? It's still costing them their paycheck unless someone gives them a ticket. Because you know for a fact that beer alone for the adults could be 14 or more. It's just the way it goes. How about health care coverage where you're paying deep hundreds or even over 1,000 at times for your monthly health care coverage? And just when you need them, they tell you you're not covered. Your medicine's not covered. $1,000, 800, whatever it is you're paying a month, doesn't include dental, doesn't include a lot of things, doesn't include psych care. Well, maybe psych care, but you're not covered. For get a cavity, out of pocket. Everything, co-pays. I'm paying you this amount of money every month, but I still have to pay more to get it. So that's where your health care. That's when it goes up every year. Remember that, up. Bazooka bubble gum. Remember, if you're old enough, you blew bubbles. That was a nice little thing. Except now they cost what they cost. I bought them. They used to be, what were they? A nickel a piece, a little less maybe. Well, nickel a piece. Now they're 3 times the amount, and the gum is half the price. Then again, you don't even see kids blow bubbles anymore. Can they do it? But again, they're all. I know these are all random and pretty much what seemingly unimportant things, but keep adding to the list if you want to. How about all those what we always laugh about? We see it on we always hear it on the news when people make fun of it. All those odd end charges you see on your electric bill, on your cable bill. And before anyone says, oh, I don't get cable anymore, that's you. That's not everybody. Look at the bills. State tax, city tax, surcharge tax, federal this, federal. There's always something being added on, like for pennies or $1, and people are paying it. I wouldn't even know how many billions are made off of this every year. What else do we have here? You ever notice what your bank gives on a 2-year CD for your investment? Well, it's last I checked, last I looked the other day, in one bank was less than a point, less than 1% for a 2-year investment into a bank. Maybe if you put in for a child's account, you can get a point, or whatever it is. Nothing. They're holding your money. Nothing. How about shipping charges? Order something. Yes, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get away with a lot. But then comes, if you're not, try ordering something and see what shipping charges cost. Go to a post office, go to UPS. Matter of fact, really be a sucker and go to a UPS store, because not only do they have to pay UPS for the shipping fee, they got to pay their rent. So for me, gas, if I could get all the money back for all the things I've listed and just pay a little bit more money, even $1 more a gallon for gas, I'd be the happiest guy. And I understand, again, I don't have a shipping company. I don't have to fuel all these things. But if you think of all the other things that go up in price, all the other things you're paying for, and the quality does not go up, and you know you're being shorted just by looking at it. Try going out for dinner in Manhattan and see what people charge you. Why the steak that used to be this big and $40 is now this big and $75. Why a slice of pizza costs, depending on which place you go, upwards $5 a slice? Why is there an ice cream place 2 blocks from where I am at this moment that charges for a super banana split $24 for a banana split, banana boat? Ice cream, bananas, syrup, whatever. There you go. Bang. Everybody is looking to bang you out for something. And believe me, it's not even productive, because once you eat it, once you get rid of it, there goes the money too. At least with the gas in the tank, you can get stuff done and come out ahead. But just think of all those extras you're forced to spend in your life. When people buy coffee pots and pay for pods in their machine, pods, the most expensive way to buy a cup of coffee, right? At home, the most expensive way. But keep on going. I got a million of these things. All the things that have gone up and people overlook it and don't make a sound about it because, well, it's just part of your day. Part of your day. You know me, I'm a big believer in bringing food over to the family. So I like going for delicatessen. I love going to Katz's Deli. I grew up in Katz's Deli. It's a thing. Why should pastrami or corned beef cost you like 38, 30, 31, 34, depending on where you go for this stuff, for a pound? $34 for a pound of pastrami or corned beef. It's insane. It's poor food. There's nothing great about that cut of meat. It's just lovable. But that's what it is. So, and don't forget when you go to your favorite pasta house, which cost about 50, 60 cents now for a restaurant to purchase a box of it, which will get you 3 or 4 portions per box. And they charge you who knows what, depending on the restaurant, for a little bit of pasta. Look at it from all angles, people. If my gas goes up for a little while, I could live with it. I could very well live with it. I can also live with going on the train on the New York City MTA if it goes up the border, when people will start bitching. It's going up. It's going up. Well, the train's always riding badly. There's always a nut job on the train. And the trains are always pretty dangerous depending on what line you're riding. So if it costs me $2.75 or $3 to go from downtown on First Street to uptown on 200th Street in a straight ride in no time, I'm okay. Excuse me. I'm okay. My throat's dry today. And so should you. But okay, fine. Whatever, right? Yeah, this is what the highest gas since 2008. Well, okay, it is. Okay. Let's say AAA says national average is $4.01. Excuse me, I thought it was 407. 401. It's up 9 cents a gallon since Saturday's reading. All right, I know it's going up fast. I understand that. But keep perspective of what you're also paying for. Look at your electric bill come summertime. Season's coming, See if you really want to put on your air conditioning. Oh man, what else is going on? That's also in part because of the war. We get a lot of stuff, a lot of fuel, a lot of oil out of Russia. And what's Russia's thing? Well, their reason for going into Ukraine seems in part to get rid of Nazis. Yes, the denazification, as he puts it, of Ukraine. Well, I was looking at a video of a synagogue with a rabbi, and nobody there seems to know what he's talking about. They're using the basements as bomb shelters. Everyone's in there. Matter of fact, Ukraine has a thriving Jewish community. The president of the country is Jewish. What's he talking about? But okay, Vladimir Putin has his reasons. A good one is yet to come. I don't think it will. What else is going on here? Oh, by the way, if you're into football, China is set to cancel broadcasting of the Premier League this weekend to block out planned shows as it shows solidarity for Ukraine following the Russian invasion. Okay. Someone's on Ukraine's side. Oh, by the way, speaking of, but then again, China's also on Russia's side. Make no mistake. They've already denounced sanctions. They've done a lot of things. Not showing soccer is not a terrible thing. China really is working close with Russia. Okay, by the way, if you haven't been keeping up in the news, but this one I'm sure you've heard, MasterCard and Visa have suspended operations in Russia over Ukraine, as has American Express. Yes, as has American Express. And the reason Well, because of what's going on. Now, if you are in Russia, you can use your MasterCard and Visa. You can't use it abroad. If you're overseas trying to do something using your credit card in Russia, you can't. Service is blocked. If you're in Russia and your credit card expires, hopefully it's not this month. Hopefully you just got a new one before it all happened, because if you did and it's expiring soon, if you didn't and expiring soon, you may be out of luck. So yeah, credit cards, a lot of companies are backing away from doing business. I like Stola Schneider is going to rebrand themselves as Stoli. Where is it made now? Luxembourg. Well, they're changing. They're going the route of Stoli. We all know what the thing is, but it was once a Russian vodka. So you know how well, you know. One group that is quiet and is not boycotted Russia, which, by the way, make no mistake, I am not telling anyone, I am not suggesting that anyone discontinue business with Russia. That is not my job here. You have to do what people have to do what they feel is right with their companies. And McDonald's is very quiet. They are not closing down so fast. Why? Because they have a very huge exposure in Russia. They have more, it says here, this is from CNBC, McDonald's quiet on Ukraine war has more exposure to Russia than other US fast food chains. In other words, McDonald's is making a killing in Russia and they're not giving that up so fast. Well, I can't make them. They're right to stay open. And somehow, if it's a matter of what Americans think, well, Americans don't give up their fast food all that easy. McDonald's will be just fine. I'm pretty sure of it. What else is going on over here? I mean, there's just one thing being lopped on to who is boycotting after another. You know what I mean? So maybe Netflix has suspended service to Russia. Well, okay. I don't know if that's going to be tipping the scales at all, but it's one more thing. And you'd be surprised how people are very upset when they can't watch their favorite show. So again, it's just one more thing after another. Legos have stopped toy shipments in stores in Russia due to this war. Again, I don't know that Lego in itself is going to sway the government's opinion, make them cease fire, but add that with Netflix, with this one, with that one, and the other one, and before you know it, you have no shipping, no imports, no reason to export a lot of things. You have problems one by one by one. And that is, then there are people who are forced to give up their careers because they can't say anything bad about Russia. Did you know that the chief conductor at Bolshoi Theater in Russia has quit from 2 different jobs because he just cannot denounce it? It says denounce. He can't say it. He just can't do it because Russia has already arrested upwards 5,000 people for speaking out. They're passing laws where you cannot speak out. One of the singers who is Russian, one of the sopranos at the Metropolitan Opera House, has quit her job, worked a lifetime to get there, and now had to leave her job because of this. And again, she cannot say a word. And it's not because she can't say what she thinks, it's because probably she has family and friends in Russia. And same as your conductor, who you have to consider that. That's a tough spot to be in, so they have to walk away. This is just what happens. That's what happens when there's war, when there's anything, whether it's disease, whether it's anything. It takes others with them. Always did. Always did. It's just the way it goes. However, will we put this over here? One second. On the good news front, well, I guess it's good news if you're from Ukraine. Up to 20,000 foreign volunteers have signed up to fight in Ukraine. Yeah, it says 20,000 foreign volunteers have signed up to fight alongside Ukraine. against invading Russian troops. Well, that's according to the Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. Yeah, approaching 20,000. That's from the Washington Post. That's experienced veterans and volunteers from 52 countries. An influx of 20,000 people fighting. That's pretty impressive. I don't know what their weaponry will be, what they're going to be fighting with, but 20,000 people showing up, and I'm sure there will be more to come, is pretty impressive. Hold it. Hold it. I hope they get help on time. That sounds like a cop car. That's the police. Okay. Well, what else is going on? But let's face it. Now we have a war in Ukraine. Oh, by the way, in case anyone was wondering about Vladimir Putin's family, his wife Felina Kabieva and their kids are safe in Switzerland. That's because the children that he shares with her were born in Switzerland. That was smart. Have the kids as citizens of another country, and that's where they are. They're somewhere private in Switzerland. Well, to his credit, to Vladimir Putin's credit, like any other good politician or head of state or anyone else in public eye, he kept his kids out of the public eye. I always say kids don't belong there. That's your job. It's not the kid's job. So if they're hiding out safe somewhere, keep the kids safe. You never know what's going to happen. There's always someone somewhere looking to do whatever. By the way, before we even, I mentioned, what is this? Yeah, I mentioned the Legos. By the way, while we're talking about this here, there's also a little twist and turns into this story. It's not just shooting guns and bombs. Let's see. Which way should I start this? Okay, let's start with this. The Russian Orthodox Church, there you go. The headline from Newsweek says the Russian Orthodox Church leader blames invasion of Ukraine on gay pride. Yes, it's their gay pride that's doing it. No other reason. Not because Vladimir Putin wants territory in Ukraine, not because he wants the power plants. It is because, it is because of their gay pride. And of course, it's going against God, going against God and all that stuff. And this was Patriarch Kirill, the head of the Russian Orthodox Church. And he said that during last Sunday's sermon called Russia's Military Operation. Okay. And which side of God humanity will be, oh man, this is what happens, There's always somebody. There's always going to be somebody. Matter of fact, if you're an end times Christian, the end times Christian believe the war in Ukraine is a sign of Jesus's return. So yes, we're going to have a war in the Far East, or excuse me, in the East, yeah, the Far, and yeah, we're going to have the return of Jesus. But Jesus seems to be coming back every other week for one reason or another. Yeah, I mean, there are people who are Jewish in Ukraine hiding in basements right now. They're not saying that the Grand Rebbe's coming back. I mean, the Rebbe's also coming back. Everyone's coming back. Matter of fact, when they come back, maybe Elvis will join them. You never know. You may find a big blasting burn stain on the wall. It could be Elvis. Then shut up. Then the ruins. The world is my prop, people. That's just the way it is. I get to tell any noise to shut up. Yeah, that's it. We're going to have Jesus, the Rebbe, and Elvis coming back at the same time to bring peace to the East. Oh, well, okay. What can I say? A hunka burner prophet. Yeah, there's always somebody, right? There's always somebody. Somehow, every time you have a war, there's always God. There's always God. It's never in the name of God. Stop it. In the name of God, this is why it started. Which is why I don't, for right or wrong, maybe I just don't really talk to God all that much. But every once in a while, whatever's going on with me, I look up and say, what? Man, listen, what can I say? May lightning strike me if Elvis doesn't return. But Now that I'm finished laughing at this terrible situation, which is, you always need a reason to laugh. I was talking, on my social media sites, I was talking to a couple of people. One of the women from Ukraine, last time I spoke, there were, well, I should say the last time, but last week, she had enough and she was getting ready to leave. Now, the time difference it was like 8 o'clock, 8ish in the morning for her. And she said she's getting ready to go to the store and take a shower and go catch the noon train and get out. She was going to Poland. She had a friend there. She's going to Poland. And she wasn't moving. She was evacuating. She was escaping, which means she was carrying her backpack. Uh, I'm under the impression she's about 5'5", around, give or take. But even if I'm wrong and she's 5, 6, or 7, how big can the backpack be? So I asked her, how many bags are you taking? She thought I was crazy. I said, no, 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 I'm really. Is there a limit? Are you allowed to take what you can? She goes, no, I'm just taking my backpack. And she's deciding what to shove into this thing. Well, I guess you're taking some basic clothes. We were talking. And she was so frantic of what to put in. Even though she looked calm, she was really thinking about what do I put in. Well, we came, of course, with, grab your jewelry, grab your medication if you're taking any. And she said, I have pills to take. I said, well, you may want it while you're at the store. You may want to get like a pill dispenser, a little section thing for every day of the week. Because if you're working out of a backpack, if you're taking more than one pill, it could be a big pain in the rear end just to get everything. So make it as easy on yourself as possible. Then, of course, you're going to grab, as I said, all your jewelry, all your money, and grab whatever clothing you fit in. So she decided what clothing to take, which I guess was basic because you're not going out for the evening. And I think she had one backpack. And of course, she was waiting. It was like a 2-day trip for her just to get home. Then I was thinking, I was asking Jade, we were just talking before the stream, and she was telling me that, because she's a musician, she's been on tour and, you're living out of a bag. But you're also living out of a bag. But when you're coming home, you're moving and things have been shipped. But you're coming home, and under normal conditions, well, you can go stop in a store and if you need something else, something rips, whatever, you can get it again. Now, yes, the woman I was talking to can buy things in Poland, yes, but still, you're leaving knowing you're probably never coming back. You're abandoning your life. And everything around you, your books, your things, your pictures. If you have a photo album, you can't just take that. So I guess you grab whatever it is you're thinking to grab. Because inside your home is your life. It's your life. And I was thinking, well, what would I grab? I mean, there's always that thing for years, preppers need a go bag. What's in your go bag case? Well, the preppers, they have everything. They're like ready to camp out in the woods for 6 months. And it seems to all be sitting inside of an Altoids box. And they're making up their own sewing kits and all. I understand. They're prepared. So, and even though I hate duffel bags, I really do. I mean, I hate backpacks. I am a duffel bag guy. I even have a big one that goes, I can wear it as a backpack, but I wear everything like a duffel bag. It has a strap. So anyway, 1 second. This is my bag. It's pretty big for the size. Jade has seen this herself. It's pretty big. I can fit a lot of things in it. Now, I don't know if it's an advantage or not, but I don't have a lot of things. I've always been one to live light in case I want to leave, in case I have to, in case that's it, in case something better. There's a lot of things here I could simply leave and not worry about. So, again, I grab a little bit of jewelry, I have room for that. I'll grab my medications, I have room for that. But what do I really take? Well, again, I can get away with this because my wardrobe is very simple. I could buy it anywhere. If I settle down somewhere, I can always order it, I guess. But what would I want to leave behind? That's the thing. Because even though a lot of it's very dispensable, what would I want to leave behind? Well, we all joke around that I have 100 flashlights, like my kids, but I'm not taking 100 of them with me. And I have all these batteries. I'm a battery freak, as my mom calls me. I can't take them all with me. So I would take the best ones possible, I guess. And I would take everything of my tech stuff that works best for me. And I will carry a second duffel bag because maybe a backpack or maybe two duffel bags because I'm big enough and strong enough to carry this stuff. So I can take a little more than some others, even though I saw a lot of people evacuating with their bags, the like on wheels when they cart it around, which I don't know how you're carting things on wheels over this rubble, but okay. They take what they pack, you pack what you have. And I have a lot of duffel bags in my closet, but which ones do you take? Because you need the more selection you have creates more to deal with. But there's a lot of things that I would not want to leave behind, not because I need them, not because they're so valuable to me, not because I can't live without them, but because this is my home and I don't want to have to give it up. Not because of a reason like that. I wouldn't want to be chased out. It's not even like I was evicted and had time to pack it up and go. I wouldn't want to be chased out. I just, so I was thinking, what would I take? And again, that leaves you the basics. But if you're fortunate, I guess if you're fortunate enough to be able to grab more stuff, big enough bags, you're able to. Now, I was talking, like I said, musician going on the road. So let's say you could take two bags. Okay. You take something for your clothes. Let's say you take a large duffel bag, but the second bag is your guitar case. So maybe you can shove a t-shirt or two into that because they all have this side pouch to put stuff in, but you still have to carry guitar stuff and you're going to be on the road for a while. So unless you're fortunate enough to have something to ride around, unless you're really busting it around, unless you're really fortunate enough to have this kind of setup where you could bring a lot of things, you're working with a bag and your case and you're doing the best you can, but you sort of know you're going home. That's different. That's a lot different. Because right now, people in Ukraine, yeah, a lot of them are hoping to go home, but I don't know if they'll ever get home. They're just going. I find that to be a terrible thing. I don't know. I just can't see it. Then again, this is not the first time in history it happened. It happened during World War II, of course. It happened. It happened when the Jews left Egypt. It's happened so many times in history. It's not even. I don't know if it's countable anymore. And those are just the big events. But again, you're leaving and you're taking what you can, if you can take anything at all. Sometimes it's just the clothes you're wearing and the coat depending on the weather, and the coat you're grabbing. And hopefully you have time, you grab your bag, your money, and you're out if you can. Did I ever tell you the story? One of the most fascinating women I know in history is always going to be Hedy Lamarr, because she created all this we're doing now. It was based on her invention that gave us the internet, all of Wi-Fi. It has been improved on, it's been added to since because she's been gone for a while. But she created the tracking system to track incoming missiles. And it's based on the keyboard of a piano of 88 keys, a sliding frequency, And of course, she never got paid for it. But when she was in Austria, Nazis were coming. It's getting to that time. She had to get out. And it wasn't going to be that easy to get out. Everyone knew who she was. But she had this housekeeper, maid, I guess, who generally looked like her. General build, hair, general description. Roughly the same height, general look. So I was reading about this. The housekeeper comes in. She sits her, invites her in for a drink, coffee, tea, whatever. And at that time, they called it sleeping powders. It wasn't what you call it now, is that we're sleeping powder. So she pretty much bombed. She spiked the tea. She bombed out the maid, who went to sleep. Hedy changed the clothes, took her coat, grabbed her stuff, and rode out on the maid's bicycle, and just rode her way out to however she escaped Austria. And she got out and came here, wherever she went, wherever she made her first stop to, but eventually came here. So people have been escaping for the longest of time. Not everybody. Some just don't make it out. But then there's always some who want to stay and fight. They're not leaving their home. And of course, if you're physically unable or have nowhere to go, physically unable to go, yeah, you're taking your chances, of course. But yeah, even like when we had Hurricane Sandy here, and everyone said get out, and people were staying with their homes. trying to be rescued, had to wait it out for the waters to recede because they wouldn't leave or couldn't leave until help came. Yeah, Hurricane Katrina. That's what happened there too. People were stuck until help arrived, if help arrived. And that's the way it'll be in Ukraine. They'll be, if they can't get out, if they won't leave, they will be stuck until it's one way or another safe to walk out or get out of hiding. And that's how it goes. But yeah, I was just thinking, back to the point, what would I take? So I'm going to repack my bag and see what just out of practice, to see what I can carry. And even though if we have the same amount of things, if I put it in a duffel bag or a backpack, I'm better off with the duffel bag. But that's just me. I'll let you know about that. Wow, 40 minutes on one subject. Look at me go today. Damn, I'm talking. Hold it. I need more water. Cheers. Okay. Not quite champagne, but it'll do. Actually, you know, one of the things I miss the most in the world is Coca-Cola. I can't drink it. I could drink diet soda, but that's worse for you. That's actually worse for you than Coke. It's just the sugar count that gets me. So, but I do miss Coke. I really would love it. Anyway, there are some other stupid events going on in the world. Let's see what we can do about this. My favorite, I shouldn't even say favorite. I can't believe this story. I thought it couldn't get worse a million years ago, like in 2008, when Jodi Arias killed her then boyfriend, I guess, where she shot him, stabbed him, and slit his throat and almost decapitated him while doing it, then shoving him back in the shower. Well, this one here may be even crazier or better, because this is a story of, this came off of TMZ through plenty of news outlets. Wisconsin woman chokes her lover to death during sex, then dismembers him. Yeah, they found the head and the male organ in a bucket and his legs in the crock pot. Taylor Shabusiness, 24, is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, as well as third-degree sexual assault for acts prosecutors said she did after the victim was dead. So let me see if I got this right. Pretty much what happened here is they were having sex, and for whatever reason, they were in the thing where she was choking. And okay, and he was trying to tell her to stop, but she wouldn't do it. Now, I don't know why. I think she was on his back or whatever the deal was. She wouldn't do it. And she kept going. And she was so into the moment. This is what she's saying. She was so into it, even when he was passing out and turning blue and purple. She didn't stop. But now he's dead. But she was still going. So she kept going. That's why the third-degree sexual assault comes in. But so then I guess she dismembered them. One's in a pot, one's in what? The upper torso in a storage tote. She put them all, bits and pieces of them anywhere, and she was having fun with the cops when they were questioning her. Yeah, this is pretty insane. But I don't know who thinks of this. I mean, great people. You want to play games behind, in your own time. That's great. But damn, she insists she didn't mean to kill him. But since she enjoyed choking him, she continued to do it. Even when he coughed up blood and noticed he was turning purple. Oh, well. And then said, oh, but since she was already this far, she kept going. There you go. So anyway, she's going to go to trial. Her bond was set at $2 million. I don't know how she can get a bond, because I'm looking at this woman, and if you don't know who she is, she won't have a problem getting a date in the bar when she shows up. Yeah, crock pot box containing additional human parts. Yeah, she just chopped them and put them everywhere in storage in the house. So anyway, there you go. There you go. That's it. I can't believe these stories I get. Sometimes you gotta love the material that the world provides. So I got Elvis coming back to save Ukraine. It's the fault of the gay people. And, you know, well, and speaking of gay, I don't know if anyone's, you got to love Florida. There's always something ridiculous happening in Florida. Well, Governor, I don't know if anyone saw Saturday Night Live where they were making fun of the story in Weekend Update. Kate McKinnon, who is gay, was the guest on the Weekend Update segment where she's giving her opinion. You know, they always have someone giving an opinion on one in a comedic way and one thing or another. So anyway, but the serious part is the Florida House of Representatives has passed a rule that would prohibit classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity. Yeah, the bill is called Parental Rights in Education, but dubbed by the critics "Don't Say Gay." Well, this is what goes on in Florida. You can't say gay. Well, the best way I can put it is if you can watch the segment on YouTube of Saturday Night Live, where Kate McKinnon, you know, they're doing a Q&A, and she sounds all excited that there's a gay in the school. There's a gay, you know, don't say gay, like you can't, you know, you don't want to make fun of it. You're protecting people's rights, and of course she's all happy about this, and all of a sudden, was it Colin Yost says, "No, I think you don't understand because." This is where you cannot discuss it. You cannot educate on it. You cannot say it. She goes, no. And she's going back and forth. Then, of course, she starts on her rant that she was a kid from the 90s. At that time, if you were in the 1990s or even the 80s, saying gay, saying someone was gay, that could be pretty bad. 70s also pretty bad. And that was it. You're gay. And at that time, especially in the 90s, if you wanted to say something was bad, it was such a gay thing to do. You're so gay. And gay meant bad. That's what it was. Gay, by definition in the dictionary, is really happy and, you know, things are going, the world, we're just going gay over that. But Kate McKinnon took this moment and she's saying, she's talking about through her skit in Saturday Night Live. And she's saying, when she was a kid, if you said something was gay, it was bad. She goes, well, this law, if gay really isn't being bad, is bad, this is the gayest law I ever heard in my life, because this is the worst law I can imagine. What was her example? Okay, so you can tell people that they have a mom and a dad at home, but what are you going to tell the kids who go home to two male parents? Tell them that they were bought at some local thing when they were younger? What are you going to tell kids with two male parents? Two female parents? Where's the other one? So yeah, let's find a way to screw up the kids even more. Let's not let them admit who they are. Let's not teach them about other people. Let's not just teach kids in general, because whether you believe it or not, a lot of things did happen. A lot of people are the way they are. And I always say, if you want to screw up some kids, let's leave it to the adults. That's just the way to do. So yes, I agree with Kate McKinnon. If the word gay means bad, then this is the gayest law I've ever heard in the longest time, because it is just dumb as shit. It is as dumb as you can imagine. You might as well take dead grass and paint it green and tell everyone how you have a new lawn. It is just the worst possible thing you could do. Not teach kids. Like everything else, we have to cancel everything, clean everything, neutralize everything, make everything so medium that no one's allowed to have an opinion. No one's allowed anything. No one's allowed to have a thought. And we'll all walk around every now and then. You've heard me use the term the Cocteau Plan. Well, you can Google the Cocteau Plan, COCTEAU. That comes from the movie Demolition Man. But you feel free to look that one up. The world is trying to implement the Cocteau Plan. It really is. You're not allowed to say anything wrong. You're not allowed to do anything that could be construed as wrong. And it's so selective. It is so selective over who gets nailed and who gets canceled and who gets in trouble for it, that everything becomes perfectly okay. That's just what it is. A lot of things that in one hand is terrible becomes perfectly all right when it's other people, when it's other situations. So yeah, it's really a screwed up way of thinking. In schools, not to be able to say the word gay. or teach them about anything about any kind of gender preference, sexual orientation, any way that other people besides you live your life. Do I know what the deciding vote was, how this person lives their life? Do I know what kind of a freak they are behind closed doors when some board members vote on this law? Who knows what's going on in their house? I'd like to know. Matter of fact, that overused word that we always hear when someone's nominated for a government position, vetted. I want everybody on the school board who votes on something important to be vetted. I want to know what they're like in their home life. I want to see what goes on. I want to know what they're doing. I want to know what they eat, what they drink. Do they drink too much? Do they do drugs? I want to know what their problems are before they start deciding that the world cannot know everything else. And this has been, wow, a charged show. Look at me go. Why, I'm almost animated. Well, I don't know what's for dinner for all of you tonight. I may have to do that tuna thing again. On my Facebook page, I'm always saying what's for dinner. And a lot of times I say when they ask me, I'm washing the tuna. Why am I washing the tuna? Well, I'm not taking it into the shower with me. Pretty much I'm taking a little hand strainer and I'm dumping the can of tuna in the tuna. And I'm rinsing it off with cold water. Why cold water? Because I don't want to eat hot tuna fish out of a can. And then I'm pouring it into a bowl after it's strained out and dried. And I'm using low-fat cottage cheese instead of mayonnaise. And why I'm doing this is I've removed a lot of fat and from the tuna, a lot of salt, residual oil, because I buy it packed in water anyway. And this is a pretty good protein way of eating, low-fat protein to help me lose weight. And then instead of bread, I use a red bell pepper because that's pretty healthy for you, like a lot of things are. So I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight. Maybe I'll wash the tuna. I'll take it down to the basement to the washing machine. I'll put it through the wash cycle, let it rinse thoroughly, so it shouldn't be wet in the bowl. I'll put it into the dryer for a while. I'll see what I can do with it. I don't know what Jade's having for dinner, but she has an extended invitation to me. I'm just fending for myself. That's it. I'm gonna eat the lint balls off the inside of my car. That's it. No food for me. Anyway, so yeah, we're coming up on that time. Look at that. It's 49 minutes past the hour. Well, every now and then I try to sound like I'm doing something in a new studio, but I'm not. I tell the time just for myself so I know what the hell I'm doing. It's just what it is. Because if I get excited and I don't check the clock, there have been times where I lost track of the time, where I could be cutting it really close to what I'm doing or go over by a little bit. Because really I'm supposed to do an hour, 58. It used to be 55 minutes. Now and if I need to stretch out a few minutes, no one's going to really care. But generally speaking, I like to keep it to around an hour or a little bit under, because otherwise it'll get pretty repetitive. But sometimes, especially when I had guests way back when, I could lose track of time and it can get really tight and close. So I'm going to install a little red light in front of me that'll flash like 2 minutes to the hour. So I know to start wrapping up. This water really came in handy tonight. And if you notice, I got a little bit of a haircut. I don't know if it's the best cut I ever got, but the woman who cuts my hair is from Ukraine. She was away for a while. She came home. She's upset. And she went to work on my hair. Well, whatever Irina does is good by me. She's been cutting my hair for about 25 years. Let her do what she wants. Yeah, so that is the story. Anyway, I'm going to go do a thorough practicing with my bags and see what I can do. And I suggest, just out of curiosity, if you're curious at all, take a look at that one bag. I don't mean that little daily, little small bag you carry around. Take a look at that one bag you can carry if you had to walk out and see what you would really put in there. Just see. And then maybe pack a few extra things because, shirts, socks, and underwear don't go bad. It's not produce. You can always put it in the bag and leave it there. So anyway, not that I'm a doomsday guy or a prepper. If I have to escape, if there's like a catastrophe in Manhattan, I'm going to my mother's house in Brooklyn, and that's all I'm doing. But or wherever I'm going. But it's just curious, what would I take? You know what I would really hate to not take? I have a plant in front of me. Sounds crazy, I know. It's a tree. I don't know if it's a rubber tree or whatever. It's a tree. We've had it in the company I worked at through two different companies. This plant, this plant is over 40 years old. It's probably closer to 50. When the office closed, I didn't want to throw it out. I took it home with me. And I have, and not many people can say, unless it's in the yard, they're not telling you they have a 50-year-old little tree in the house, because that's what I got. So I would hate to have to leave this behind. But see that everybody has something. Everybody has their own thing. So somehow, I think I'm looking at Jade's studio where she's sitting, with all the equipment she has, with all the stuff she's got. I have a feeling she'd be grabbing that guitar case with the Jade Zabrick name on it for basic guitar, and that's the one she's taking. And there's always a few picks in there, maybe a few extra strings just in case. And that's the music she's taking with her, I guess. And I assume, well, it's a lot easier if you play harmonica, right? So that's the story. All right, everyone, I will talk to you next week, see if we adjust the format or not. But right now we're doing pretty good with this. We're trying to dart and tag people to bring them in here to do new shows, because it's always good capturing people and making them plead for help and rescue on the air. And that's what's going on. Oh, by the way, still no updates on baseball, but when it comes back, I am sure your Bud Light will cost in excess of $20. Speaking of things that are going up. Anyway, don't sweat the small stuff, laugh at the little things, and do the best you can, right?